Hi, so today I wanted to talk about the Concorde and the time when I was very lucky to be able to fly as a passenger on the Concorde. Now, Concorde was a supersonic passenger aircraft which was created and built and flown by Britain and France, and it was designed in the 1960s, designed and built in the 60s and the 70s, and it started service in the 1970s, and I was very lucky to fly on the Concorde one time in my life in the late 1980s. Concorde then flew at over twice the speed of sound, which no passenger aircraft today comes anywhere near. And it was the most beautiful aircraft in its design, looking like a white swan or a white heron, an incredibly graceful aircraft. And the way it flew was also extremely powerful and very graceful. For takeoff then, we accelerated down the runway, and we reached around 200 miles an hour on the runway just before takeoff, so it's accelerated faster than a Formula One car. And you felt some G-force and some acceleration, which you don't in normal aircraft, or if you do, it could be your imagination. And when we took off again, it was quite an exciting or a breathtaking takeoff. And we, with the afterburners on, the 4 afterburners, which increase the power of the 4 turbojet engines. So the engines they have are pretty different to the usual turbofan engines that you find now on commercial aircraft. We flew up to a little bit under 30,000 feet to cross the south coast of Great Britain. Because of the sonic boom, the loud banging sound that breaking the sound barrier caused, you're not allowed to fly passenger aircraft at the speed of sound or more over many countries. So once we got out over the sea, the pilots, of which there are 3, 2 pilots and 1 engineer, but of course they're all pilots, they put the afterburners on again. And when they did that, there was a little jolt, and the aircraft accelerated again in a very exhilarating way, in a very fun way, kind of as if we're taking off again. And we went up to quite close to 60,000 feet, so around double the normal, around double a typical cruising altitude of commercial aircraft, perhaps. And what was quite interesting at that altitude was that I was able to see for the first time that the Earth, ladies and gentlemen, is round. And many people are telling me these days that the Earth is flat again, as it was in the Middle Ages. I'm pleased to confirm to you the Earth is round. This was the first of a number of times that I've seen the round Earth. It's not only round, but it's very beautiful. There was an orange glow around the edge of the Earth, so an atmospheric lighting phenomenon. And above us, many Concorde passengers have said that the sky was black above them in the daytime. Well, for me, it was not black, but it was a very dark blue, and I've never seen anything like that dark blue of sky ever, let alone in the middle of the daytime. So, the cruise flight, looking down, you could see the countries as if they were a political map, and I confirm to you that no borders were drawn on the actual Earth. It's only in Google Maps or on the Atlas that they have borders. They're not actually there, except for natural borders such as rivers and mountains, etc. Those, of course, are there. During the cruise flight, the performance of the aircraft was stellar but extremely boring. I swear that aircraft seemed to be more stable than the room I'm sitting in right now. The turbulence that you can often have that makes commercial flights kind of exciting was entirely absent. You're above the weather. You're so high up in the atmosphere, there's no movement in the Concorde. When it's in cruise flight, they served champagne, very nice champagne, caviar, and smoked salmon canapé. And I thought that was very impressive, and it was impressive in an aircraft at that time, or even now, but especially at that time. When we came in for landing, we had a lovely glide down the glide slope, and I was able to watch out the front of the cockpit. The nose of the plane would droop down so that you could see where you were landing, and I saw that nose droop, and I watched the runway gliding gracefully up towards the plane, and we touched down in just a perfectly smooth manner, and a landing I will remember for all of my days. So I just wanted to say, having had that experience, that we would do well to think about the fragility of our tiny, tiny Earth in the universe, and how incredibly beautiful and phenomenally unlikely it is that our Earth exists at all, and what a privilege we have to have life on Earth. And we need to forget, if possible, all of the pedestrian, earthbound, day-to-day nonsense that we spend our time with now, more and more inwardly looking, even over the internet and over social media, and look outwards to our world, look outwards to our universe, and remember that all of the nonsense we spend our time arguing about is total nonsense. Most of it doesn't exist at all. Even if it exists, doesn't need to be discussed. We need to spend our time creating, maintaining, and developing peaceful international relations on the stunningly beautiful blue marble on which we have the inestimable privilege to have been born. Thank you very much.